home again, jiggity jig. I wouldn't recommend flying cross country on a multi-vehicle tour. A wise thing to do when Mercury is stationed and fitting to go retrograde in Sagittarius, which rules travel in a number of ways. Sagittarius rules travel, international travel, but you know, Mercury rules travel, and it's like stationed. And I had to go from Nantucket, Massachusetts, which is an island, on a 2-hour ferry to get to Hyannis, to wait a couple hours to get a 2-hour bus to Logan Airport, then to grab a flight to Boston to Atlanta, and then from there dash to get an Atlanta to SFO flight, which they had to change the plane because the bathroom in the first class was like broken, and so we had to go from gate number 2 in this one section to gate 36, and like, you know, Grandma does not like to trot, you know, after being on the road already for like a gazillion hours. I got up at like 5 in the morning to catch a 6:30 ferry, and this is like now 8 o'clock. And I still have this like 4-hour flight to San Francisco. Because that plane was changed, I got to the baggage claim at 11 o'clock. The last BART, which is Bay Area Rapid Transit, the last BART that's going to go close to my home is leaving in half an hour. And I have to get from the baggage claim to Heck and Gone Again to where the BART shows up at SFO. I got there, the doors were closed. Last train, the doors were closed. I said, oh please, Mercury retrograde, new moon in Sagittarius, don't close the door on me. I don't want to have to spend a bunch of money and a whole bunch of time trying to get home either by cab or shuttle. And then, so I just went like this and made hand gestures to the conductor, and he opened up the door. Bless him or her. Got to Daly City BART. And then my last leg of the trip was this nice Muslim fellow who laughed like crazy, because when I got in the backseat of the car, I went, Allah, like this, because I always say that when I'm just like you know, just like overwhelmed. Oh, I did that going into after I went through TSA, coming home. Not a good thing to say after you get finished going, oh, radiate me, and then I'm getting out and I get my stuff, and I was putting on my stuff, and I was grabbing my, and I said, oh Allah, like I said, oh, wrong place to praise your God, you know. So anyway, this is it's a new moon. I traveled from a new moon to a new moon, almost. I mean, just by like by one day's different. And I came home when Mercury was stationed. It's like, but because I got sick, I'm still a little. You can hear it. So I'm still a little stuffy. I got a sore throat, like on the 7th. Oh, my sister just texted me. You can hear that. I got a sore throat on the 7th. I was feeling really over Julie's place, and then I was feeling really awful like on the 11th, and then by the 14th, when I between the 11th and the 14th, I was like sucking on cough drops over at my son's house in Philadelphia, and then on the 14th to a couple of days after that, I was like just laid out in New York City in the middle of Hell's Kitchen, 2 blocks from Times Square, at Miss Darling Lori Lynn's apartment. She was so kind to just, like, you know, feed me vegetarian food and let me, like, you know, break my fever there. By the time I got back to Nantucket, I had to, like, change my departure date for a week, to delay my going home for a week, because I was too sick to travel. My the father of my son took me to ER at Nantucket. I got these really intense antibiotics, it's called a Z-Pack, and it's just like, oh my god, it just like knocked this thing for a loop. But I stopped coughing for the most part, and after about 3 or 4 days, I started feeling better. I said, oh. So the only opportunity to fly home that wasn't like an absolute zoo, you can't fly the day before Thanksgiving, it's a madhouse. You can't fly the day after Thanksgiving because it's a madhouse again. The only window of opportunity is on Thanksgiving itself. And I said, ay, caramba! It's like, Mercury is stationed on the day I have to travel. And I had this vision of like trains, planes, and automobiles, that movie with John Candy, and it was sort of like that. So anyway, I'm home. I'll probably be doing another video talking about a little more about astrology and less about my travel. But if you can help it, don't travel during Mercury retrograde, because, or you just pack a whole lot of patience and run like crazy between your different connections. I mean, I was knocking people over, dragging my travel bag, trying to get to that last bar, and I told this whole family that was like blocking up the you know, those like automatic people movers. They were like hanging on the left and hanging on the right, and I was just like, I got minutes to spare. And I said, excuse me, I'm trying to catch the last part. Get that out of my way, please. And I was like being rude as all. Oh, and then when I get to the bar, NSFO, they say, okay, if you're going to go to San Francisco, you go down this escalator. I goes, okay, I go down this escalator. Bart's there, and they say, oh, that one's out of service. You have to go to the other side, so I have to go up another escalator, over the thing, and then down the thing, and that's when the doors were closed. And I said, oh, criminy, I just want to get home. And so I'm home. I'm still sniffly. The kitchen is a wreck, but and I'm still coughing a little bit. But I'm just glad to be home. So that's it, in a nutshell. From a nutshell. I'll be, let me see. I guess I'll put together a blog that has links for new moon in Sagittarius and retrograde Mercury sometime today. I have to like find something with caffeine in it, because yesterday was like, you know, an ordeal. Fun, but an ordeal. Oh, and I had a really nice conversation for 4 hours with this gentleman named Michael, who lives in San Mateo. He's about I'm born in 49, he's born in 59, so he's like 10 years, he's my junior. But anyway, we talked about, he's a Sagittarius, we talked about philosophy and blip-de-blip. I think he's Sag. I'll have to double check. I have to still do his chart. But anyway, we talked about philosophy and religion and metaphysics and politics and, you know, people and relationships and stuff, and probably annoyed everyone around us on the plane. But it made 4.5 hours go clip like that. Just think. So, some things good happen during Mercury retrograde. Okay, so be good, y'all. I'm back. I'm back with my own computer equipment. Thank you very much. And let me go put that blog post together and be a little more cogent about these topics.